The question often arises, hey, why can't we divide by 0? Should be able to. Well, the answer is very easy to understand once you see it, and so let's look at it. First of all, let's start off with something like this. 30 divided by 6. Well, 30 divided by 6 equals 5, but notice that this is the exact same thing. 30 divided by 6 is the same thing as taking this guy, multiplying up there to get that. It's just rewritten multiplication in a different way. We can rewrite it as 30 equals 5 times 6. 6 times 5 is 30, and that works, and it makes sense, which makes this expression of division doable. So let's try it with a 0 in here. If we take 0 divided by 7, that equals 0. And why does it equal 0? Because we can take and times this up here to equal this guy. 0 is what we equal by timesing the other two. So this 0 up at the top is there, equals 7 times 0. So we just moved this guy up here and multiplied those two, and that's how we know that 0 divided by 7 works. And if you plug this in a calculator, yeah, it'll give you 0. Now we run into an issue where somebody's like, oh, what about 7 divided by 0? That should, look, they look almost exactly the same. Shouldn't that equal 0? Well, let's try the multiplication version of this. And you get 7 equals, so we take that guy times this guy to equal 7. 0 times 0. You're like, oh boy, that's where we get something bad. That was bad. Let's try a different number. And you'll see, oh, let's try 18 divided by 0. Well, what? 0. 0 times 0 equals 18? Nope. Let's try, is it 18? 0 times 18 equals that? And you're like, whoa. If you have 18 divided by 0 equaling some number, say y, you would have to take 18 equals 0 times y. Will this ever work? Is there anything that can ever give you 0 times that equals 18? No. That's why this, with a 0 on the bottom, is not possible. And you're like, oh, let's try it with any generic numbers. X divided by 0 equals a y. X equals y times 0. And you're like, oh, that will never ever work unless x is a 0. So in general, 0 on the bottom is completely undefined. You can't do it because there's no such animal that'll work. But some of you are being a little bit clever. Well, let's write that out. So anything like this would be written as undefined. And then you get some smart aleck. Well, it's undefined because you can't get anything. You can't divide by 0 because 0 doesn't times to give you anything up here. Well, some of you are a little bit smart alecky and will say, now wait a second. If I put a 0 here, then it'll work. And you're like, oh, 0 divided by 0. And you're right. Technically, you can do something with this. You can be like, wait a second. Hey, look at that. That could equal 0. That makes sense because 0 times 0 equals 0. You're like, hey, 0 divided by 0 is 0. And then the teacher answers back with his own a little bit of smart alecky and says, oh yeah, I think 0 divided by 0 is 17. You're like, that doesn't even make any sense. Well, let's take this times that. Does that work? You're like, yeah. That did work. But that's not fair. You cheated. Well, sort of. You realize that when 0 divided by 0 equals y, this could be anything. And so this is actually 0 divided by 0. It is kind of undefined, but undefined in a different way. Here, there is no possible y that would work. Well, here, this is called indeterminate. You can't determine what it is. It could be really anything and it would work. So it's undefined. It doesn't give you a clear answer, but in a different way than just this guy does. If this guy's not equal to 0, there is no solution. If it is equal to 0 on the top, then it's really, that's where we get this phrase indeterminate. Hopefully that'll help you understand. When you divide something by 0, it's just undefined. You can't have 0 on the bottom. And if you have a 0 on the top and a 0 on the bottom, then you get indeterminate forms. Hopefully that helps.